Alright. Hey YouTube, I'm making biscuits. I'm actually making biscuits and I'm trying to record at the same time I'm cooking dinner, which is probably not
That's not how
that
you do
smart. He thinks he made biscuits twice and now he knows how to make biscuits. I'm going to tell you I have a great heirloom recipe. Not really. My recipe, I'm still fighting this cold, so I'm sorry I'm scratchy, is right there. Classic drop biscuits. I actually roll them. I don't use buttermilk. I use butter instead of shortening. Focus. And I cook them about 360, 370. But that's it. But they cook a little longer than 10 minutes. So, but I feel like it gives it more time to raise up. So here we go. Now, like all good things, I'm making them in large batch. That baby's going to be okay. I promise. I make them in large batch. So for me, and again, you know, I don't follow my directions perfectly. And I don't even scoop flour the right way. So there's my flour. I'm using 3 cups of flour. I'm using 1/2 tablespoons of baking powder. This is my baking soda. I keep it in an old peanut butter jar. I'm using 1/2 teaspoon. Sometimes I use more. If you have a little extra baking soda, it doesn't matter. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I use a teaspoon of sugar. And this is kind of a tablespoon. So, a little bit of sugar. Get that thing in there. Alright, then you just mix it up. It's all white. Mix it good. Now, I'm using butter. I did let it sit out a little bit so it will be softer. And I put in about a 1/2 cup of butter. So, that's more like a 1/3. Just like that. Now here's the tricky part. Not really tricky at all, but this is that if you own this thing and have never used it and you don't know why you use it, it's a butter cutter. You cut the butter in. I don't ever use it. I own it. I don't use it. I use my hand. I use my hand because it's easier for me to feel when it's done. And I'm just smearing my butter into the flour. So it's kind of like playing mud pies, Play-Doh, what have you. Get a little dirty. I did mean to put an apron on because I always end up wearing flour. And so I'm just kind of spreading this. And I'll see how it's kind of sifty. When it gets full, it gets crumbly instead of that. So before, and let me find after. And it'll kind of, and the nice thing too is it'll kind of mold into a shape. If you ever did land judging, if you're like an old school FFA'er like I am, I did land judging. And when you do land judging, you learn about loam. It's very equivalent to loam texture. So, loam is a type of dirt, by the way. So, see how it's kind of, it's not so versus, yeah. And it doesn't have to be like perfectly mixed, because then you just end up with little butter pockets in your biscuit. Okay. That should be, ooh, I found a little wet spot. And you have a lot of butter on your fingers when you first start doing this. And as it gets mixed in, you'll be able to kind of wipe the butter right off because of the flour. So I try to do it with one hand so then I'm not like floured out. See? That's only because I'm being not really bad. Okay. Ooh, there was another butter packet. So that's about all I do. Now, I want to tell you about my milk today. My milk is not my usual milk. We're out of milk. I haven't gone and gotten milk. And so I keep backup milk. This is what I call backup milk. You can get this at the Dollar Tree for $1, and it's a quart of milk. I actually use this to make not only my biscuits I'm making now, but I also made it my macaroni and cheese from scratch because it's cheaper. It really is cheaper to make it from scratch. So I use this to, I'm using this today because I'm out of milk. So I keep like about 4 or 5 of those. My husband thinks he's so funny. He keeps coming up to the side of me and harassing me, but staying out of the picture. So once this is crumbly, add your milk. I'm adding a cup and a half of milk. No, don't stir this part with your hand. And this always ends up a little bit too wet for me, so I always end up adding quite a bit more flour. And as you add the flour, it won't be sticky anymore. And the other thing too is once you start making biscuits, I mean when I learned, and by the way, I learned this from Misty Prepper, or from, she has 2 channels. I think it's from the Misty Prepper channel. I sat and religiously watched her video over and over again for a month. And then every day I'd make like about 1 to 2 rounds of biscuits until I figured out and mastered the consistency. So it's still sticky. And this is where you just need more flour. And when the flour is right, see, it's kind of not, you see how all of a sudden it's not sticking to the pan anymore? That's all it needed. It just needed another scoop of flour. Okay. Those are stains. I am rolling biscuits on a clean counter. So I give myself a little, and I mean, you can get the pastry mats. When I do my pies on a pastry mat. But my biscuits, I just don't tend to get to it. Probably because I'm cooking dinner. Pies I kind of make during the middle of the day. Okay, see, it's wet under there. It didn't get all mixed in. And I'm just kind of folding it over. And yes, I'm getting it all stuck to my fingers. Again. And then all I'm doing is kind of folding it over. And because I have the flour there, it's not going to stick to the counter. If you're finding yours is sticking to the counter, you don't have enough flour underneath it, is what it comes down to. And this kind of gives you your layers. I mean, I'm not doing anything great, but see, as I do it, it's spreading out. Or it's not spreading out, it's getting sticky because it's bringing in that dough from the middle that it doesn't have all the flour in it. And I don't want extra sticky. See, can you see that? That's going to be more stickier. So I'm just working my flour through, and I need a little more. That's why you kind of keep your measuring cups in there. Need a little bit more flour. Alright. There you have it. Spread my remaining flour out. Get my roller. Now I like thick biscuits, so I'm rolling mine like this thickness. I roll mine about that thickness of my thumb nail. So I just kind of roll it out. This is my biscuit cutter. It's actually a Rata chopper, so this is sharp. But all I do is cut biscuits with it. I could sharpen it, and I could like chop carrots and all that with it, but I don't. And like I said, thank you, Misty Prepper, because I always wanted to know how to make the biscuit, and because of her videos, I learned to make the biscuits about 2 years ago. She probably was wondering why she kept having like her views jumping on that video every day, but that was me learning to make my biscuits. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm doing this on the side. That's all I'm doing. See, they're not sticky. They got no stick to them. I mean, these kind of become our workhorse. This is what gets us when we're out of bread. We live off biscuits. And we're out of bread. We're out of bread. I haven't made any bread, and I was hoping the Dollar Tree had some bread, because sometimes they have some good bread. So did you see that? I just folded it over, re-rolled it out. About my thumb width. I'm just stomping them out. Now mine's making enough because my kids love honey and biscuits at the end of the night. That is their dessert. So again, I'm just folding it out. Sorry, I'm kind of so automatic about doing some of this stuff. I'm going to tell you what, once you start making your own biscuits, you can't eat a container biscuit again. The Pillsbury's and all that, no. Alright, that's my last bit. I shove it in. That's it. Now it's kind of, I could do this actually. Look, I can roll it into a ball. So, I'm sorry if I went too fast. If you want a better video, you have to leave me a comment. And I'll go back and I'll redo that step that you missed or I went too fast at. And I don't butter my pan. You might hear them there, and they're vacuuming and arguing how to vacuum up goldfish that somebody stomped on the carpet. Okay. So, this is my big family workhorse right there. Oh, wait till you see them. They'll be done when they're done. They look amazing when they're done, and they taste so good. Alright. And see, that's the mess. Alright, they're about done. I ended up cooking them at 370. I don't know how. I think I had them cook 20 minutes. But, you see them? Is that not amazing? I made them all on my own, and you can make them too. Let me find a spatula. They are burning hot. Kitty's over here licking her lip. But they have an amazing layer. So they break apart. They're super hot right now. Super, super hot. Let's see, can I show you? So, here it is. You see it? Nice and close, the biscuit's coming to get you. Focus. I feel like if I say focus, my camera will do it. They literally, there it is. Perfect. So easy enough to do it. I hope this encourages you to give a try. Stop rubbing my shoulder. I can't stay focused. I'm trying to show you and he's off like, let me rub your shoulder. So there it is. Nice and yummy. You can make them too. Take some practice, but you'll get it down just like I did.